Good morning. Welcome back to the Carton Show. We have your early morning headlines, and we start with this. Very interesting news. Keenan Allen, formerly of the Chargers, was traded to the Bears for a fourth-round pick. The Bears quarterback is potentially going to be the number one pick, Caleb Williams. When this news broke, what did Caleb Williams do? He liked to tweet about it. How do you feel about what the Bears are doing to build around potential number one pick Caleb Williams?
Well, there's two sides of it. People like Louie and Greg Jennings are going to say, why didn't you do that for Justin Fields? Because they didn't. But now they're getting a franchise quarterback, a generational talent, and they're not stupid. They're going to do everything in their power to give Caleb Williams a chance to be successful. And, yeah, sure, they didn't do that for Justin Fields, but this dude's the real deal. I love this deal. And the greatest thing about Keenan Allen, I know we put his stats up there a second ago, that was on 13 games.
Yeah.
Like, he had 108 catches. He didn't play 17 games. He missed 4 games and still had over 100 catches. And it was an obvious security blanket, for Justin Herbert and that offense even when Herbert went down. This is a great signing for the Chicago Bears. I know the Chargers went to Keenan Allen and asked him to restructure his deal, and he said, restructure that.
Hold that.
So they're like, all right, screw it, we got to trade him. And the fact that they get him for a fourth-round draft pick. Look, Ryan Poles in Chicago is not beloved because he tore the whole thing down. They've had no playoff success in God knows how long. They, like a lot of teams, have been searching for quarterbacks for decades now in the NFL. But if you start taking stock of what this guy as a general manager has done over the last 3 years, it's awesome. It's brilliant. And he has got the Chicago Bears now in a position to get the generational talent in Caleb Williams. All due respect to Justin. He just didn't work out there. And there's a lot of reasons why. But in addition to that, people forget, the Bears also have the 9th pick in this draft, meaning you're going to get a Pro Bowler if you pick right at number 9, and you've got maneuverability with the 9th pick because there might be a team sitting there at 12 that wants to get up to 9 because there's a guy, a quarterback that they want, meaning you get even more picks. So I think Ryan Poles has done a great job getting the Chicago Bears ready. And when you consider just a year ago when the Carolina Panthers were so desperate to move up and get my little buddy right here, Bryce Young. Can you guys put the thing up I asked for earlier today? Look at this. This is what the Bears got by giving up the number 1 overall pick so that Carolina could go out there and get Bryce Young and not C.J. Stroud. DJ Moore, rock star wide receiver. Now you get Keenan Allen for the 4th-round pick. And to be very fair, they have a couple 4th-round picks. This wasn't the one they got, but you see the point.
Let's pretend it was.
All right, fair enough. You put it back up.
Way to go, doing it. Way to go.
Yeah, put that thing back up. Thank you. So you get a stud starting offensive lineman. You get a stud cornerback. You get the number 1 overall pick, which is going to give you the generational quarterback, and you get a very high 2nd-round pick, right? Plus, you already have your 9th. You picked the 9th pick overall, which is yours. That's a fleecing. That could go down. When we look back at the annals of the NFL, we always talk about the Herschel Walker deal and the Dallas Cowboys and Vikings. We talk about the draft day deal that the New Orleans Saints made so they could get Ricky Williams as examples of what they have for you guys thinking that's the level of incompetence we've never seen before. And I know there's a new GM in Carolina. He's not the guy that did the Bryce Young deal. But this will go down arguably as both the worst decision in taking Bryce over C.J. Stroud, but also maybe the most lopsided deal in NFL history. This is crazy.
Yeah, but if you're a Bears fan, you're starting to feel like there's some competency to your point.
Yes, you are.
At the end of the day, you drafted Justin Fields, and you was hoping that he was going to become the rock star. That didn't happen. But you also recognize you didn't give him any weapons. There wasn't an offensive line. The team was in shambles. Now you're saying we got another swing at the plate. You get Caleb Williams with the pieces around him. Now you're adding security to a guy right now who has a big-time arm with a lot of talent. And by the way, when they talk about comparisons, He reminds a lot of people of Aaron Rodgers, right? You know what Aaron Rodgers did in that division? Dominate for a long time.
Yeah.
So if you're a Bears fan, you have to feel good about it.
You got DeAndre Swift, so you've got a legitimate running back.
Yep.
You've got depth at wide receiver now. You've started to rebuild the defense that you decimated with trades just 2 and 3 years ago.
Gerald Everett is a great pickup.
And all of a sudden, look, I'm not saying Chicago's going to go out there, and make the playoffs, because we don't know how long it's going to take Caleb Williams to get comfortable at the NFL level. And that's the unknown.
Right.
We know he's got all the talent, the arm, the athleticism, all that stuff. But being an NFL stud quarterback, different ballgame. But there's no reason to think that they can't be this year's version of the Houston Texans.
No.
And they're doing a very good job building around
If you're a Bears fan, you're a Jets fan, right?
Yes, I
and
am,
if you're a
so.
Bears fan, you guys have something in common. Like, Caleb Williams, if he gets drafted by the Bears, which he likely will, he'll be the best Bears quarterback in about 3 decades.
In theory.
But honestly, it's almost like it's hard for him not to be. The Bears have a history of bad quarterback play.
The 2 best quarterbacks the Bears have had since Jim McMahon, to be totally fair about it, were Rex Grossman, and I got to give him a nod because he took him to a Super Bowl, and Jay Cutler.
Yeah.
And Jay Cutler is hated in Chicago because people think he put on the winter parka and wouldn't take the field despite the fact he couldn't walk because he had no knee left, right?
Yep.
They're the 2 best guys since McMahon. And McMahon's the only good quarterback they had since Sid Luck.
He wasn't that good either. McMahon wasn't even that good.
That name.
McMahon had like the Nick Foles run where, wow, Jim McMahon's really good. Right? Yeah. I also played golf once with Jim McMahon, and I've never seen this in my life. 2 cases of beer.
2 cases?
2 cases.
24 beers?
We played in the Hootie and the Blowfish golf tournament, which is right after the Masters.
Darius Rucker.
Pardon.
Darius Rucker.
At the time, it was the Hootie and the Blowfish golf tournament. Now it's the Wagon Wheel golf tournament with Darius Rucker, right? And I'm playing with Jim McMahon. I like playing barefoot as well. He's playing barefoot, 2 cases of beer. No problem. And I'll never forget this as long as I live. Jim, can I grab one? No.
Really?
He had 24
I'm like,
beers.
my man, you got 24 beers in the car.
18 holes.
Yeah, and he had a cooler of ice. It was the most fascinating thing I've ever seen. And I'm like, hey, can I grab one? No. Like, who are they for? Me. Okay.
24?
I am not lying. And they were gone. And it wasn't like, like you're at a party and you start drinking a beer and then it gets a little warm. You're like, oh, let's get another one. And you put the half-drinking beer down. No.
The more you drank, the better do you get?
Bone dry at the bottom. 24 beers, 18 holes. Never seen anything like it.
Did he
In any
golf
event, that's my Jim McMahon story.
All right, moving on to our second headline. That has nothing to do with Jim McMahon drinking beers. It has a lot to do with the Kansas City Chiefs finally addressing their need in the wide receiver room. They got, formerly of the Ravens, formerly of the Cardinals, Marquise Hollywood Brown on a 1-year deal. How does the addition of Brown change how you feel about the Chiefs heading into the season?
Well, first off, for those of you that are attacking me for saying that the Kansas City Chiefs were going to get a deal done with Mike Williams, I'd be pretty damn close, no? Right?
No.
I had the Chiefs signing a wide receiver yesterday.
Sure.
They signed a wide receiver yesterday. I'm taking that as a W.
Who's attacking you for that?
Twitter.
Okay.
I'm taking that as a W. In any event, I think it's a great deal for Kansas City because, look, you get Chris Jones back, great, check the box. L'Jarius Sneed, you franchise him, he's not happy, but coming back, check the box, right? And now you're saying to yourself, what's the biggest need a team that just won back-to-back Super Bowls have? And we've talked about it a million times over. It's a deep threat, not just another good wide receiver to help Rashee Rice, but a wide receiver that can go deep. The last 2 years, Patrick Mahomes has only thrown 2 touchdown passes where the ball traveled in the air more than 20 yards, which is crazy to think about that because we all think about the offense as like this high-flying offense. It's not for the last 2 years in which they won Super Bowls. Now you've got a guy, I'm not saying he's as good as Jerry Rice, but he is a legitimate deep threat. This is a great deal for the Kansas City Chiefs. And when you look at that, this is just in his career. He's got 14 touchdowns all by himself in which the ball traveled, over 20 yards, right? And which is top 10 since 2019. This is why you got the smiley face emoji from Patty Mahomes yesterday in response to the deal because now there you go. Now, that's right, grown man emoji, awesome. Now you've got a deep threat. And if there's one thing missing from that offense, despite the fact they have won back-to-back Super Bowls, so in theory, we're not missing anything. It's the ability to stretch the field and score on quick drives from anywhere on the field. This was a dink and dunk, check down Charlie offense, and now you've got big play explosiveness. I think it's a great deal.
Yeah, and on top of that, you got a receiver who knows how to catch the ball. That was the biggest.
That doesn't hurt. That does not hurt.
That's the bottom line.
Although in Kansas City, I saw the Kelsey podcast yesterday. I guess the wide receivers do practice with margarine on their fingers. Marquise Brown now will be able to teach them how to catch the ball.
Okay.
Yeah, I may have made that up, but no. Anything else?
Moving on.
I like how we just all believed it. Like, Jacoby didn't even believe it. Like, it's got to be right.
Margarine?
He's like,
Probably, I don't know why they don't use butter, but whatever. So the Cowboys never even reached out to Derrick Henry. Wow. Currently, the Cowboys have no running backs.
Right.
What does this tell you about what's going on with the Cowboys this offseason?
That's what I've been saying all year. They're not all in. You know, look, if they couldn't afford Zach Moss at $4 million a year, I'm not surprised they didn't pick up the phone. He got $8 million guaranteed or $9 million guaranteed. That's too rich for their blood. Now, I don't think his game fits the Cowboys offense, so I could make an excuse for Dallas. Well, of course, he didn't pick up the phone. He was never on their radar because he's not the type of running back that fits the offense that they're going to run there with Mike McCarthy calling plays. But this is a problem if you're a Cowboy fan, because worst case, you want to know as a fan that your general manager is kicking every tire. Now, we can all agree he doesn't fit their offense, but you find out what he costs anyway, because that's called due diligence and called competent front office in the NFL. The Dallas Cowboys don't have a competent front office, and they've only signed a single player that wasn't with the organization last year, and that was a one-year deal for a guy that's really more of a depth guy in defense than anything else. Now, I know Stephen Jones came out yesterday. I don't know if we're going to play it or not, but I can just tell you what he said. Stephen Jones came out and said, we are all in, and you don't define all in by what you do in the first 3 days of free agency. Really? That's exactly how I define being all in, because there's 31 other teams, and every one of those teams made a deal that they believe made them better. The Dallas Cowboys have lost guys. They've not replaced those guys, and there is no argument to be made that the Dallas Cowboys are a better team today than they were when they lost to the Green Bay Packers. This is comical, and it's getting worse. And I know exactly what's going to happen. They're going to find one dude, maybe even a household name, Mike Williams, who's always hurt, right? And say, see, we told you we were all in. And the other thing the Cowboys are espousing now is they've got to get their own guys re-signed. And that's an example of being all in. Well, you know, if we extend Dak and we extend CD and we extend Micah, that proves to our fan base we're all in. Memo to the Jones family. It has been 28 years without a Super Bowl. You told us a month ago, after the devastating loss to the Green Bay Packers, 2024, our motto is all in.
Right.
When? When do we see you being all in? During the draft? Every top player that was available has been signed to go elsewhere. Yeah. Now, there's still good football players left.
No, they're not.
But how the hell are you all in when you acquired nobody?
No, right now it's the bottom of the barrel guys. We mentioned the name Eric Armstead. He just went to Jacksonville. You know, we talked about Danielle Hunter. He went to Houston. We talked about everybody else that could possibly fill voids on this roster. They're all gone. So now if you're Jerry Jones, what kills me about the Derrick Henry situation is Derrick Henry trains in Dallas. He didn't have to pick up the phone. Take him to lunch. You talking about tampering? This is a good running back to tamper with because of what he's done in his career. Now I understand you don't feel like he fits the system fine, but he is still a damn good running back. And so the fact that Jerry has done nothing as far as making Dak better or this roster better or this defense that clearly lost you a playoff game better is shocking, man. And if you're a fan of Dallas Cowboys, we have talked about it all week. This is when you start giving up your Cowboys jerseys, you start giving up your hat, you start looking for another team to cheer for. Because this is starting to be embarrassing.
It's tough. And one of the things that Dak Prescott himself came out and said, we're probably going to restructure my deal because it's best for the team to help the team win. Jerry Jones said, we're going to restructure Dak's deal because it's best for the team to help the team win. How come that hasn't been done? It's one thing to not acquire free agents, but it's in front of everybody. The numbers are the numbers. It's $59 million against the cap. Why hasn't that happened?
Yeah, we've showed multiple teams within an hour who have all gotten better. Chiefs,
Even
Bears.
marginally, even the Bills.
They've
getting
done
Samuel.
something. They have done nothing.
Look, right, and they have no cap room right now. They're like right up against the cap.
'Cause of the
Maybe they have $1
Dak
million
deal.
bucks, whatever it is. They haven't done the Dak deal. They haven't done the CeeDee Lamb deal. They could kick Micah down the curb another year, so I'm not worried about that one. But I'm trying to figure out. Look, the Giants don't have a quarterback, so I don't worry about them. But defensively, they got better.
Yep.
Right,
Oh,
the
yeah.
Eagles on paper got better.
Even the Commanders got better.
And the Commanders, in theory, got better. And I'm saying to myself, are the Dallas Cowboys going to try to sell me on when they announced that they've signed Jadeveon Clowney, who was second on the Ravens last year in sacks, that there you go, we've got our sack guy, we're helping Mike out, and try to convince Cowboy fans that he's the answer. Now, Chase Young is still out there,
Yep.
and Chase Young is still a very young player who has shown glimpses of being Hall of Fame quality player, and he just never lived up to it. He did have an injury as well in his career, but man, the rest of them, here's what's crazy about this, and I find myself always trying to put myself in the feet of fans of other teams to try to understand the way they think and represent their feelings. Here's the reality. The far majority of us, let's just keep it straight here, love this. We love the fact that the big mouth Dallas Cowboys are a train wreck. We love the fact that their fans are ticked off. We love the fact that they claim to be all in and then do nothing. We love the fact that they're not going to win the Super Bowl again this year because you're either a Cowboy fan or you hate the Cowboys. There's no middle ground.
Right.
So for those of you, like my buddy Rick over at Adora down in Tribeca, who loves the Dallas Cowboys, I know what's going on right now. They know. They know.
Rick is pissed.
They know.
What?
We stink.
Oh.
They know. And they're done with the owner. And they're done with the quarterback. And they're done with the whole lot of them. And they're frustrated.
Craig.
And the rest of us are like, yes,
Craig.
another year.
They couldn't bring in Zach Moss because the money was too much.
Yeah.
They couldn't bring in Rex Ryan. Why?
Money.
What's the problem here? You're the
Yeah.
Dallas Cowboys.
And by the way, I did check yesterday because, my dad taught me a valuable lesson in life. Don't count other people's money.
Right.
Because you have no idea what people do, right? I decided to count Jerry Jones's money, despite the fact my dad said never count anyone else's money. Jerry Jones' personal net worth today, as we sit here today, $13.7 billion. Ooh, with a B. $13.7 billion, but we can't afford Rex Ryan?
Yeah, but Rex Ryan is too expensive.
Cut the check.
I'll do you one better. When Papa John's wanted to be the official pizza of the Dallas Cowboys, John, who's no longer with the company, went to Jerry Jones and
Little bit of
said,
blues back.
to trade for the rights to be the exclusive pizza company of the Dallas Cowboys, I will give you the state of Texas. You'll own the rights to every Papa John's in the state of Texas. Jerry has no idea what that meant. But every year, he gets $15 million because he's the owner of every Papa John's in the state of Texas. But you couldn't afford Zach Moss?
Rex Ryan? You can't get Rex Ryan in the building?
What?
Yeah.
I guess also my dad told me that's how rich people stay rich. Hey there, thank you so much for watching The Carton Show. You can subscribe right here to get all the latest bits and segments from the show. And by the way, while you're at it, we have a lot of great shows on FS1, so check them out too.